final chapter review, which is chapter 8. All this stuff that we haven't actually been quizzed on yet. So I would really recommend that you spend some time on this chapter, because it's the newest material, and you want to make sure you know it well, because that's probably, if any chapter I put a little bit more emphasis on for the exam, it would be chapter 8. So right at the beginning of the chapter, a couple things that you want to know just from a vocabulary point of view is Wann hast du Geburtstag? When's your birthday? We say when is your birthday, they say when do you have a birthday. Wann hast du Geburtstag? Okay, and you can simply say Ich habe im April Geburtstag. We didn't work on how to say the number, the exact day, like the 5th of April, so you don't have to worry about that. So if I were to say it, I would say Ich habe 15. April Geburtstag. But you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to worry about the number. You just have to know that we use im and then the month. Okay? Now you can also talk about another expression that we've used throughout this semester, but this is a good one in this chapter to practice it. Was für ein, which means together. What kind of? So in this chapter we're using as was für ein Geschenk, what kind of present, bekommst du, are you getting? Remember, bekommen means to receive. Bekommst du. Okay? So, let's see, is there anything else interesting there? No, other than, like I said, I always say make sure that you know your vocab. Work hard on knowing that vocab from the chapter, and you'll be fine. So, you get, going through it all and making sure you know whether it's der, das, die Kamera, die Kleidung, das Radio, der Radiowecker, die Ohrringe, die Uhr, which is can be a clock or a watch, der Fernseher. Again, on page 224 is your first dialogue to read through, make sure you know what's going on. And then you get to 226. And this is a big part, so make sure you know your possessive adjectives. And your possessive adjectives work like what? They work like ein words, right? So we need to know, first of all, let's write them all out. You got my, which is mine, yours, informal, which is dein. Then you have his, which is sein. You have his, which are its, which is sein also. You have hers, which is ihr. You have ours, which is unser. You have y'all's, which is euer. And you have theirs and yours formal, which is ihr. Let's see, did I get them all? I think I did. So, I'm going to give you some examples. Remember, these work like ein words. So if ein takes an e on it, eine, so would mine, meine, deine, seine, ihre. If it takes an en, meinen, deinen. If it doesn't take anything, then you don't have to put anything on it. So if we do an example, and I'm going to give you 2 separate, very specific examples of when it works in the nominative case. And remember, the nominative case is the subject. Okay, the subject is always in the nominative case. So you have to find the subject of the sentence. The accusative case It's always the direct object. So you always have to be able to separate the subject from the direct object. So where knowing your grammar is important. Really, really important. So if I say my dad, I'm going to write it out in English. My dad has his alarm clock. Okay, my dad has his alarm clock. So we're going to use it. This is going to be sein. His. This is going to be mine. First thing we have to figure out. Alright, I know I have Vater. Alright, Vater is der. So now I have to put mine, but I have to figure out, do I have to put an ending on Vater here? Let's see, is it the subject of the sentence or is it the direct object? My dad is doing the having. So that makes it the subject, so it makes it the nominative case. So there's no ending here. Mein Vater hat. What does he have? He has his alarm clock. That makes this the direct object. So then it's der Radiowecker. So it's sein. You have to put an en on here. Seinen Radiowecker. Seinen Radiowecker. So I showed you two masculine nouns and how they're different in the nominative and the accusative case. Now what if I, let me erase this here. What if I changed these nouns and made them feminine? And I said, mein Schwester hat, don't know what I'm thinking there. Mein Schwester hat our unser, what can we do? Let's do something feminine. What if we did a jacket? Jacke. Alright, so what endings go here? Schwester, it's going to be E, right? Meine Schwester, she's our subject. She's doing the having, and the having of what? The jacket, which is your direct object. And all we have to do here is also add an E. So meine Schwester hat unsere Jacke. And that takes us, I hope that helps explain everything. That takes us to that chart on 226. And that chart on 226 does a nice job. Nominative chart. So if it's feminine, if it's neuter or feminine, masculine or neuter, which is the same as D, der, or das. Sorry, my handwriting is so messy. But this, if it's feminine, meine, masculine, mein, neuter, mine. So if it's the subject of the case of the sentence, you gotta put a mine there, no ending here, no ending over here. So if it's the direct object, I'll put the subject here so you know. The direct object, it's in the accusative case. And mine, if it's D, der, or das, mine, is still going to be meine. Mine changes to meinen. And finally, das, still stays the same. Nothing there. Okay? So it's just like when we learned about der changing to den. Or ein changing to einen in front of a masculine noun. It's kind of the same idea. We can go over this on Wednesday if you're going to come to the review, just in case you need a little bit of extra help or extra practice. Finally, you need to know the accusative personal pronouns, and that is, here are all the nominative pronouns. Nominative, which are the subject pronouns, and the accusative pronouns are your direct object pronouns. Ich, du, er, sie, es, wir, ihr, and sie. It changes to mich. That changes to dich. Er changes to ihn. Sie doesn't change. Es doesn't change. Wir to uns. Somebody's trying to text me. Ihr to euch. And sie to sie. So in the same way that I just showed you, now let's talk about how we use that. So we can say, die Frau kennt, die Frau kennt den Mann. And if we were to put pronouns in for this, it would be sie, that's her subject, she's doing the knowing. She knows, kennt. She knows, who does she know? The man. So this is where, if I can pull this down one more time, I need to go to here and see that er, if it's the subject, but if it's the direct object like it is up here, then er changes to ihn. So let me get rid of this again. It should be sie kennt ihn. Alright, what else do we have in this chapter? The only other few things that I want you to do is to make sure you know your vocab for the house. So go through your house vocab, be able to describe a room. If I were to give you a room, could you label the different parts of the room or the different parts of the house? Be a good way to do it. There's another dialogue on page 229. 229 dialogue. I would also look at page 242, which are the accusative prepositions. And those are durch, für. Hold on one second. Okay, I got interrupted there. But, so we have durch, für, gegen, ohne, and So those are our accusative prepositions, which means that anything that follows the object, so the object of any of these prepositions is going to be in the accusative case. So you might say, ich kaufe. I am doing the buying. Here's my subject, nominative case. Ich kaufe einen Computer. Why is it einen? Why does it have an en on it? Because computer is der. And in the accusative case, ein has to be einen, or der has to change to den. Okay? Let's see. So if I refer back to this, as an it, I would have to say ich kaufe. It being the computer. Ihn. You see how I did that? I tied in our accusative pronouns. I'm buying it. Ich kaufe ihn. So we really have to be able to know the subject of each sentence and now the direct object. And if we know those two things, then we're able to figure out whether to use een or whether to use einen, whether to use den, whether to use eine or ein. So it's really important that we be able to identify the subject and correct object. And going back to what you always hear me talking about, if you don't know your vocabulary, you are irrelevant. So your foundation of everything is knowing your vocab really well. And finally, in this chapter, again, besides doing your vocab, we went over the Lesestück. The Lesestück on page 224. Definitely expect a couple of sections, at least one from the Lesestück. So you need to know that Lesestück. I think you all did a pretty good job working with your partner. If you did, it should be easy to review for. That's everything. Like I said, we'll have a review session on Wednesday at 12:10 in room 105 for anybody that wants to come by. I'll answer questions as long as you need me to. Bring your questions, okay? Because I'm not going to redo the whole review that I've already done here. But if you have questions, we'll work through them.